Om Namo Narayana, welcome back. We are reading the Maha Upanishad, and in part 5, starting with verse 83. O Brahman, to win perfection, be luminous after washing clean in the waters of discrimination, the mind gems steeped in the mire of many flaws. By wholly overcoming the inimical senses, resorting to sovereign discrimination, and beholding the truth with the intellect, cross the sea of empirical existence. The wise know that concern is such as the abode of endless pains. They also know that unconcern is the home of joys both here and hereafter. Bound by the cords of latent impressions, this world revolves, constituting empirical life. In manifestation they agonize. When obliterated, they make for well-being. Though intellectual, though extremely and variously learned, though high-born and eminent, one is bound by cravings as a lion is with a chain. Resorting to supreme personal endeavor and perseverance and conforming to shastric contract unwaveringly, who may not win perfection? I am this entire cosmos. I am the supreme self that lapses not. Nothing other than me is. This vision is the supreme assertion of the self as I, or the first level of self-assertion. I transcend all. I am subtler than a hair's tip. Such, O Brahman, is the second and beneficent mode of self-assertion. This mode promotes liberation and not bondage. Witness the case of the liberated in life. The conviction that I am no more than a bundle of parts like hands, feet, etc. is the third mode of self-assertion. It is empirical and petty. This root of the evil tree of empirical life is wicked and must be renounced. Smitten by this, the worldly man rapidly falls ever lower. Discarding this wicked mode of self-assertion from one's life in due course, by virtue of the beneficent mode, one achieves liberation in peace. Resorting to the first two non-worldly modes of self-assertion, the third worldly mode that occasions pain must be renounced. Next, discarding even the first two, one becomes free from all modes of self-assertion and thus ascends to the transient status of freedom. Bondage is nothing but craving for objective enjoyment. Its renunciation is said to be liberation. Mind's affirmation is perilous. Its negation is great good fortune. The mind of the knower tends to be negation. The mind of the ignorant is the chain of bondage. This timeless mind of the knower is neither blissful nor blissless, neither fickle nor stirless. It neither is nor is not, nor does it occupy a mind position among all these. So maintain the wise. Just as Duda, subtly ether, illuminated by the Spirit, is not objectively perceived, so the impartite in spirit, though all perceiving, is not observed. The imperishable spirit, free from all imaginings and beyond nomenclature, has been assigned designations like oneself. Transparent like a hundredth part of ether, partless as manifested in those who know, ever aware of the sole self of all that is pure and empirical life, this spirit neither sets nor rises, neither rises nor lies, neither goes nor returns. It is neither present nor absent here. This spirit has a flawless mode of its own, indubitable and propless. At the very outset, purify the disciple through excellence such as mind's tranquility, restraint of sense organs, etc. Next, impart to him the teaching, then all this world is Brahman, the purified thou. One who teaches an ignoramus or half-awakened disciple that all this is Brahman will, in effect, plunge him into an endless series of hells. But a disciple whose intellect has been well awakened, whose craving for objective enjoyments has been extinguished, and who is free from all expectations, is rid of all impurities born of nescience, the wise teacher then may instruct him. Like its effulgence where there is light, like the day where there is sun, like the fragrance where there is flower, so there is a world where there is spirit. When the viewpoint of knowledge is purged, when the dawn of awakening spreads vastly, this very world will cease to appear as real. Establish in yourself. You will realize all right, the strength and weakness of the flood of my words of instruction. You will realize it by the highest mode of nescience that spurs the effort to wipe out the sphere of the petty self. By it, the highest mode of nescience, is one, the knowledge that consumes all errors. Ah, Brahman, one missile puts forth another out of action, one flaw destroys its opposite. One poison may be neutralized by another, an enemy may destroy another, such is the wonderful riddle of elements that pleases through self-destruction. The real nature of this riddle is not perceived. As it is observed, it perishes, observed with a flaming imagination whose content is, in truth, it exists not at all. He who cherishes with the creative and liberating imagination the thought that all this is spirit, that the perception of difference is nescience, should renounce this nescience in all possible ways. The ultimate status, which is said to be imperishable, is in truth not one. Speculate not as to whence this nescience has risen. Speculate rather on how shall I destroy it. Once it is dissipated and expelled, you will recognize that status. That integral status includes the knowledge when this Maya has come and how it has perished. Therefore, try to treat with remedies this abode of disease, that being Maya. We're going to pause here on verse 116. So, this is such a rich Upanishad. There was a line here that just caught my eye, and it was talking about how you shouldn't teach a disciple who's not prepared that all this is Brahman. It was lead them into a series of hells. Series of hells, I think, is clearly a post-Dante reference, because it's actually Dante that started this idea of series of hells. And in Hinduism, do we really have a series of hells? No, not really, because we really don't have a Hades. But it's a good, what will we say, for modern readers, it's a nice addition, because we know exactly what it means. Anyways, thoughts, comments, all that good stuff down below. And thank you for watching. And, yeah, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.